Previously on Leandra, the TBR Zero.
And honestly, it would be a dream, actually, to pick up a book from my bookshelf and have a viewer realize that that same book has been on their shelf for years, and then they decide to give it a try.
Wow! Come on.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leandra, and I am the TBR Zero. That means, starting in 2022, I decided to create this book channel and focus on the books that I have behind me rather than binging on book hauls or finding myself adding too many books to my cart online. And while I am slowly going to be getting through this book
journey,
and getting through the 279 titles that I counted and that I currently own and have not read, I thought that it would be a shame not to highlight the books that I have read, the books that may be on your TBR shelf, but they're no longer on mine. I think I'll probably do this once a month, where I discuss 5 titles that I think you should either dust or bust, which means you should either, yes, dust it off your shelves, read it immediately, or it's a bust, at least for me, and it's not a book that I would generally recommend you prioritize before other titles. I also have decided that in this series, every video is going to have some type of theme, whether it be the same author, the same genre, or the same trope, something to that effect. And the theme that I have decided for this video is Agatha Christie, probably one of the most prolific authors that has ever existed. She's written so many mysteries, thrillers, and stories for the stage, to the point where I think that it would be a feat if anyone ever does read all of her work. I'm certainly working through it slowly as an avid Golden Age detective fiction reader, but there are definitely a handful of titles that I still haven't gotten to. With that said, I have read quite a few, and I've decided that I can easily go through a few of them for you and let you know if it's a dust or a bust situation. Let's get started. Book number 1 is probably one of her most well-known titles, and it is The Murder on the Orient Express.
Eliminate the first "the." That was my fault.
Anyway, this is a classic Agatha Christie mystery. We've got a locked room murder. We've got a transit mystery as well. It's on the Orient Express. So we are in close quarters with the suspects. We are trying to understand and untangle the timeline of what was going on the evening of the man's death. And Hercule Poirot is right there in the mix, trying to sort through what's happening. I think this is a great mystery. I love a lot of the adaptations as well in regards to movies and TV shows. I think my favorite is the one featuring David Suchet. He is definitely the actor that I associate with Hercule Poirot the most, but I certainly can't say that I disliked any of the adaptations that I have read. So when it comes to dust or bust, I highly recommend you dust it, because this is a great introduction to Agatha Christie in my opinion. Book number 2 is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Now this copy might intrigue some of you. It is the Folio Society version, and there are some gorgeous illustrations in here. Here's one that actually has Hercule Poirot himself, and I hope that my camera angle worked out for you guys. Now, if you guys have this version, if you have a $2 edition that you found secondhand, then this is another book that I think you should definitely take off your shelves earlier rather than later, especially because this title has so much controversy in regards to it. Half of Agatha Christie fans hate it, half of Agatha Christie fans love it, and I think that it's important to read it as soon as you can before you risk having it spoiled for you. I am in no way suggesting that if you already know the ending, it's not an entertaining experience, because I think that you can enjoy a detective fiction novel even if you do know the ending, but this one is not one to miss. And man, I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Another book that you should definitely dust off your shelves. Book number 3 is The Mysterious Affair at Styles, and I think this one is close to my heart because it's her first novel written, and about a year ago I got really into Agatha Christie, trying to learn more about her life, and I just love that her first mystery is still a banger. This is another locked room mystery. It's in a cozy estate out in the country in a village, and again we have multiple suspects. We're slowly getting to know Hastings and Poirot and their dynamic, and it's just brilliant. Twice I thought I knew who the murderer is, and
Both times I was wrong.
so it's just awesome to know that even in her younger days of writing, she was great. So if you do have this book already on your shelves, highly recommend that you dust it off and don't wait any longer. Hi guys, it's still Leandra. As we are getting to the halfway mark in this video, I thought it would be a great time to remind you that if you're enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, and click the little bell so you get notifications when I post other videos, especially other videos in this series. I would really appreciate your support, and hopefully you guys will benefit and get more book recommendations off of your TBR shelf. Okay, thanks. Enjoy the rest of the video. Bye. Book number 4 is going to be The Man in the Brown Suit, and I think this is a lesser known title, or at least a lesser read one. It's one of her standalone fictions. So we aren't going to see Poirot, we aren't going to see Miss Marple, we aren't going to see Tommy and Tuppence, any of the well-known characters that Christie has been known to reuse. Our main character is Anne Bedingfield, and she is just an amazing young woman protagonist. She wants adventure, and she's definitely not afraid to get her hands dirty as she's trying to solve a mystery. To give a little bit information, it starts in England. She witnesses the death of this man right here, and it seems that he almost died of fright more than by the train that hit him, because a man was approaching him, and in fear he stepped back onto the tracks. And while Anne isn't sure who that man is, she certainly wants to figure it out. We discover that there's a whole bigger mystery that ends up taking her all the way to South Africa. So this is a great book, and I highly recommend it. So in regards to dust or bust, highly dust it. Let's get through this together. It's a great copy. However, the one thing I do want to warn you, and this should not be surprising if anyone knows anything about Agatha Christie, she does have some problematic opinions that will make you squirm at times or just get frustrated, especially when we see so many progressive ideas, for instance, a young woman detective. With this book in particular, I personally saw some exoticism about African people, and on top of that, there's this undertone of superiority when it comes to white Europeans. So while I don't think there was enough of it to say this book's a bust, it is something that I highly recommend you be conscious of as you're reading it. And yeah, I just don't think that it would make sense to ignore these things, even if they are written by an author that you love. And that goes for The Mysterious Affair at Styles as well. There is some anti-Semitic undertones that just, again, make your stomach turn a bit, and it's better to be aware of it, to acknowledge that it exists rather than ignore it, especially when we know Agatha Christie wasn't a perfect person, even if she knew to write the perfect mystery. All right, that brings me to book number 5. I no longer own it because I did unhaul it, but I will show a graphic right over here, and that is Nemesis. This is a book, when it comes to bust it or dust it, I am telling you to bust it. This book is not worth it. I don't care. Someone may find it to be their favorite Agatha Christie. If they do, I want to know who this person is because I don't understand. But this is a book that was a part of the Read Christie 2021 challenge, and I can't remember which month it was. It was July or August. And when I read it, I could not believe that this book was chosen, especially because there are some really uncomfortable discussions about victim blaming and sympathizing with the assaulter when it comes to those types of situations of SA. And I do not recommend you reading it. I don't think it's necessary. And the mystery, it's pretty predictable. I had no difficulty knowing who the person was probably halfway through the book. So hands down, let's bust it, unhaul it, or just leave it in the back of your shelves and prioritize other reads. Yeah, sorry about that one. We've gotten through the first series of this Beat the Backlist format. I hope that this has encouraged a few of you guys to dust off a few of these Agatha Christie books, and if it hasn't, well, stay tuned, because I've read enough of them where I can do it again and see if we can find another title that's already on your shelf that you will love. Until next time, thanks for spending some of your day with me, and I hope you have a great one. Bye! Like and subscribe.